Welcome to Eugene, Oregon. It's the 97th straight sellout at Autzen Stadium. The hopes of the Duck faithful rest with Heisman favorite Marcus Mariota on this first Saturday of a highly anticipated Pac-12 season.
Pac-12 football is probably one of the toughest in the country, I think.
I would say top to bottom, it's the deepest in the country.
You can get beat by anybody, you know, so you really got to bring your A game.
Any given day, any team can beat anyone else.
You gotta be kidding me! No way!
I think that the Pac-12 is probably one of the quickest conferences.
We got a lot of athletes in this conference, so there's always big plays being made.
Pac-12 football is truly amazing.
There's a lot of great teams that, you know, you always see in the top 25 and the top 10.
10, 5. He turns with cat-like quickness to the end zone, and that was spectacular. One of the craziest finishes I have ever seen. Oh, my.
The competition is so high.
We have talent, we have speed, we have everything. Pac-12 football is the best football you can get.
Welcome in, everybody, to a delirious Autzen Stadium as number 3 Oregon Ducks take on the Coyotes of South Dakota here at Autzen Stadium. Hi again, everybody. Glenn Parker, Joe Savage joins us in a moment. I'm Kevin Calabro. Oregon ended the year 11-2 last year. They finished at number 9 in the country, ranked very high. They got great news in December when Marcus Mariota made it abundantly clear he was going to forego the pros, come back and play college football, and hunt a national title.
Yeah, and the offense runs through Marcus Mariota. He's the number 1 player on the team when it comes to it because it starts with the quarterback in the spread read. So it starts with danger. Danger is he can keep it and run. So he makes this read. This is the zone read. It's a very simple concept. If the defensive end turns, he takes off and runs. He's got the legs to beat almost any defense. Where he's gotten better is in the passing game. Play action starts, it drags in those linebackers, but it also gets that safety snooping a little bit. When he does, he's got the arm, and now he also understands the offense well enough. He's going to deliver it on time and accurately. He's gotten better and better as a passer. So where it started out, the danger was always his running ability. Now he can do it all.
He's got young backs, young wide receivers, but a seasoned front line.
A very good front line. His offensive line, led by Ronis Grasu, is an absolute stud. Everything he does is exceptional when you watch him play. And one thing they know, they have to have their philosophy had to change. They have to become more physical, more dominant on the line. So they've gained weight and they want to be more explosive.
Whole lot of buzz about the youthful Oregon Ducks. A lot of newcomers. To fill us in, here's Joe Savage.
That's right, Kevin. Every year they get really excited for all the incoming freshmen. This year, 3 have stood out among the rest. They are Tyrell Crosby, Charles Nelson, and the man getting the most hype is running back Royce Freeman. He has been out there listed as a co-starter alongside Byron Marshall and Thomas Tyner. Coach Helfrich praised the 18-year-old not only for his rushing ability, but also how well he can stay in protection, which is typically the most difficult thing for an incoming freshman to learn. And all of this just adds to the hype around Freeman, which Coach Helfrich jokingly told me yesterday is somewhere between Earl Campbell on the football side and Mother Teresa for his personality. Those are some big shoes to fill, Kevin.
Jill, thank you. Can't wait to see those young ball players. But so much rests on the shoulders of Marcus Mariota. 31 touchdowns, 4 interceptions a year ago. An outstanding ball player. Gets the year started next on the Pac-12 Network. Welcome in, everybody. Number 3 Oregon Ducks on display for the first time this year here at Autzen Stadium, where they have been so good over the years. The Coyotes of South Dakota from the Missouri Valley Conference. Glenn Parker, Kevin Calabro, Jill Savage on hand here, and another sellout, the 97th consecutive here at Autzen Stadium. High expectations, obviously, for the Ducks. 11-2 a year ago. They were ranked number 9 at the end of the year after beating Texas in the Alamo Bowl, and they are ranked number 3 coming into this game. The Coyotes have won the toss. They have deferred, and they will kick to Oregon. And we are underway. Tom Thomas Tyner back in the end zone. Running to the 10, cutting to the 20, getting a block and diving across the 25-yard line.
That takes some guts to defer and give the ball to them.
Marcus Mariota needs 1 touchdown to set the school mark for the most touchdowns. Joey Harrington has the record, needs 4 passing TDs to break Darren Thomas's career record of 66 and 332 yards of total offense to set the school record of 8,141. Bill Musgrave. A lot of records to be broken by Mariota. No doubt he'll have them in his grasp, if not tonight, sometime soon. Looks left, throws right. Man caught on the far side behind the line of scrimmage. Thomas Tyner was dragged down by the South Dakota defense, and it was Kevin Loggy who came up to get him, Glenn.
Loggy was a name that came up all through the meeting. Joe Glenn told us this is one of our better players. He stayed home, kept his assignment, made a nice play.
Brings up second down. Mariota on tiptoes, throwing near side, has a man wide open. That's for a first down, sprawling across to near the 40-yard line. Keenan Lowe, the senior from right here in the state of Oregon, who had 18 catches a year ago. Glenn, he figures to be the primary target this year because of the graduation of DeAnthony Thomas, now playing for Kansas City, and Josh Huff out there with Chip Kelly in Philadelphia. Here's the handoff, and running off the left hash is Thomas Tyner.
Well, as you know, they're going to find weapons. There's no lack of depth of talent when it comes to the Oregon roster. And so there's guys going to show up, and they're all going to get a chance.
And how about that backfield? Tyner, a year ago, with 9 touchdowns, 711 yards for the sophomore. He had an outstanding year, and they are saying he's definitely going to be a next-level guy. Byron Marshall had a terrific year with 14 touchdowns. He's in there alongside in the backfield, and there is a whistle. That'll work against Oregon. Let's take a look at the keys to the game, brought to you by Polaris.
Pretty simple. The Coyotes, they got to keep the offense on the field. They can't give up any points to Oregon. And the Oregon Ducks just established this new philosophy of being physical at the point of attack, running north and south.
Tyner and Marshall in the backfield. Man in motion is Marshall. Mariota back to throw. He's gone deep for the bundle. Has a man. Pass complete. On the run is Dwayne Stanford. Can he beat the defenders? He will. Touchdown, Oregon. .62 yards on the bomb. Well, Marcus Mariota, who has done it time and time again.
It's a touchdown. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 88. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed on the succeeding kickoff.
4 plays, 74 yards, and time of possession 1.5 minutes. And Stanford called for the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. That will cost him 15 yards on the kickoff. Ducks looking for 2. Trips wide to the right. Running the football and into the end zone is Taylor Alley, the 3rd string quarterback and ordinarily the holder on the kick team.
Well, I want you to notice the action, what it does to these guys. They've got their eyes in the backfield. The safety to your top right is the same thing. He jumps up, he gets crossed between the 2 routes. He's out of place when he realizes this pass. He gets caught, and here's a great view of it. Safety took inside man, corner takes outside man. They don't switch it off, and they get burned deep.
Stanford, a big target, 6'5", redshirt sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio. And Marcus Mariota just easing that one out there. The redshirt junior from Honolulu, Hawaii.
You know, most guys throw their first touchdown, They're jumping everywhere. He just gives a little touchdown signal and gets off. That's his personality right there. How about that? 49 TD drives of 2 minutes or less. Second in all of Football Bowl subdivision. 32 TD drives of 5 plays or less. And he just goes on the speed and how explosive and how quick they can hurt you.
And he's now moved ahead of Joey Harrington for Oregon's touchdown total of 80 on the career. Matt Wogan gets into this when Jasper Sanders waits underneath for the Coyotes. It's Eric Shumpert taking it off to the far sideline and driven out of bounds. That's where South Dakota will set up their first possession here of the evening at Autzen Stadium. The quarterback of the Coyotes, Kevin Earl, 6'6" junior, the team captain from Lincolnshire, Illinois. Averaged 210 yards a game last year in starting in the Missouri Valley Conference. He started in week 5. And if that name is familiar to you, the last name Earl, Robin Earl, his dad played in the NFL, graduated from Washington in '77 from Kent, Washington. The turn and the handoff. And a quick dive up the middle. Trevor Bama with a carry and negligible yardage on that one.
How about taking a look at our difference makers? Trevor Bama, one person you just said, Eric Schuford, wide receiver on defense. Ekpre Olamu, my guess this year he'll be the defensive player of the year in the conference. And Ark Armstead, huge defensive end, coming into his own now.
Now Armstead used to play basketball here at Oregon and decided in January he was going to devote his time to the weight room, and man, he has bulked up. He's picked up 40 pounds in a year's time. Back to throw as Earl finds a man open over the middle, throwing under the coverage. Josh Vandermatten with the completion, and he gets out near the 48-yard line. That may be good enough for the first down. There's a flag.
Oregon, his helmet came off through play. He must leave the game for one play.
So helmet popped off, and
worst rule in football. Sorry.
Well, we saw it today in the Bruins' big win. A return punt was called back for a helmet that had been knocked off and then put back on, and the Bruin player continued in the play. I knew you'd be upset about that, Glenn.
Absolutely, I'm upset.
Bruins with a tough win on the road today in Charlottesville, Virginia. Big game over the Cavaliers.
That was good movement by the South Dakota offensive line. They got a little bit of push. Nice job just finding a crease and getting some yards.
That was Trevor Bama. Bama, the 5'11" sophomore. Had close to 800 yards gained last year from Lamar's, Iowa.
Second and 4 at the Oregon 47.
And you see right away the strategy. Huddle, go slow, string some first downs, keep your offense on the field.
Earl has wide receivers off to his left and a man in a motion into the backfield. Drew Potter, lead block left side. Earl gets a block, slings one, ball deflected and nearly intercepted.
And where it got deflected was not where he wanted that ball to go. He was throwing to the receiver behind. The receiver in front, I think, got his hand on it. So he was trying to put it over the underneath guy and over the top guy, and it was a defender got his hand on it. As you can see right there, Vandermatten is open. The ball just too low. Really athletic play to get his hand on the ball.
Troy Hill with a deflection. He's a senior from Youngstown, Ohio. One starter returns in the back four for Oregon. Mitchell, Patterson, Jackson combining for 18 interceptions a year ago. All gone. They've graduated. Dargan, Robinson, and Hill get the start with Ekpre Olamu. Earl back to throw. Throws a dart here to the near side. That's a first down for the Coyotes. Eric Schuford makes the grab.
And their strategy so far, they've been just keep it as manageable as possible. They're not, that deflected ball was really their first shot down the field.
Now, this is what they want. Joe Glenn, the 65-year-old coach at San Diego, or at South Dakota, beg your pardon. He graduated from South Dakota back in 1970. He's had some great stops. Wyoming, Northern Colorado, where he won a national championship. Montana, where he won a national championship. They want to methodically move the ball down the field and string together some first downs, and they have done that here so far. And again, they move it ahead. That one up the middle, a gain of about 3 on the play.
Using a fly sweep motion, freezes the backers for a bit. You come right back under with the running back, and you get yourself some yards. And there's where he's been. I've known Joe a lot of years, and he is one of the just gentlemen in the game of football. Just a great human being.
He said it's a strange business. When he was at Wyoming, they went into a charged up atmosphere in Knoxville, Tennessee, where they put 100,000 plus in the stands. They beat the Volunteers. He said, we brought home a check for $1 million and I got fired at the end of the year. Strange business.
Strange business. Got to win.
Trevor Bama with a call, and he'll gain a yard or maybe 2 on the play. We also asked him about his offensive line, and he that much weight up front. Check our lineup. They've got a freshman starting at center who weighs 305. A couple of guards that tip the scale at 295. The tackles are 305 and 300.
When you're in South Dakota, there's a whole lot of those farm kids out there, you know. Seems like everybody's got one. They're throwing the hay bales around. They wrestle in high school.
3rd down and 3. Let's see what they can do up front. They give him protection. He has time. He fires a bullet, but it's tipped, deflected away. Riley Donovan, the intended receiver, and in coverage again is Troy Hill. Hill gets his hand on another pass.
Hill's got tight coverage. There it is right there, just a slant. 3-step, get it there fast. If that ball's thrown well, though, I have to believe it's a completion, and they're moving the sticks again. There's Don Pelham.
They have a new defensive coordinator, Don Pelham. He's been with Oregon for 22 years, formerly the linebackers coach.
Don't forget he was also a recruiting coordinator here.
And did you know he has his PhD in communications and film? Here's a drive and a field goal for the Coyotes. A 47-yard field goal for the Coyotes of South Dakota. 8-3 score, Oregon. Oregon on top of this one early, 8-3, as the Coyotes of South Dakota got a 47-yard field goal from Miles Bergner. There's a look at the defensive coordinator, Don Pelham. What will change, if anything, in the transition from Nick Aliotti, who was here for 24 years before retiring after the Alamo Bowl?
Not a whole lot. They're still going to run the things they run, but it'll be a different voice giving the message, so it'll be come in a different way. The players love the guy, and I think he'll just have some ideas of his own that he'll implement now.
We were told that Nick Aliotti is home tonight on the couch after playing a very successful round of golf. Watching our broadcast, here's a ball squibbed down near the 40-yard line. Keenan Lowe scoops it up, and Oregon is in business. Take a look at the changing of the guard, the new coordinators.
Well, we certainly saw Cal's new coordinator get it done, being Northwestern, and of course we'll get a look at all of them as and of course Justin Wilcox, we already knew, we were familiar with him.
UCLA had three defensive touchdowns in the second quarter today on the road at Virginia. Oregon goes to work. Thomas Tyner working right side, dragging tacklers for a first down.
Picks up about 10 yards for the Oregon.
Tyner 5'11", 215 from Aloha, Oregon. 711 yards a year ago with the 9 touchdowns. He's the lone man in the backfield, faking the handoff. Mariota will keep it and gets across to about the 41. Tyson Graham came up from his safety position to make the stop.
Wholesale change for the Coyotes. They bring in a new defensive line.
Working with their second string nose guard tonight. Nick Jacobs is up front, the junior from DeLand, Minnesota. Wide open receiver, far side. Another touchdown, Oregon. Marcus Mariota, this time with great vision, spots Byron Marshall coming out of the backfield and a hookup of 42 yards. The second touchdown completion of the evening for Marcus Mariota with 7:58 left here in the first period.
Well, they lose sight of the receiver. They run with the under. The safety's got his eyes in the backfield. When everything starts from the same motion, with the same fake, it's tough for defenses to get a grip on it.
And again, Oregon will go for two. The holder, Taylor Alley, direct snap, throws a pass in the end zone, broken up, and a flag on the play.
Illegal formation, offense, not enough eligible players on the line. That penalty is declined. The try is over.
Marcus Mariota, the Ducks. Mariota getting better all the time with his arm. Well-designed play. Because that fake, it's open, and this is an easy one. Ducks are rolling early.
Marcus Mariota has thrown a couple of touchdown passes, and Oregon leads the Coyotes of South Dakota 14-3. Welcome back. Glenn Parker, Jill Savage somewhere in that audience, and Kevin Calabro here at Autzen Stadium. Matt Wagen gets into this one. Eric Schubert bouncing out to the left side. His submarine down near the 30-yard line.
Eric Schubert on the return.
When we look at this touchdown, the safety's eyes are in the backfield, and Marshall simply runs the wheel. Now the safety, when he's watching the route happen, he actually steps forward and into the path of the receiver. So he sees that backfield motion, he steps up, never notices Marshall on the wheel. It's easy pitch and catch for Marcus Mariota to get it out to him. You hope that all your touchdowns are that easy.
Kevin Earl is back. Earl fakes the handoff, drops back, gets something on this one. The low throw is gathered in by Riley Donovan. Donovan able to get down there on the carpet and grab that one.
Well, protection's pretty good again. He's able to sit back. He can actually survey. He pretty much stares down his receiver. Got to be dangerous. The safeties aren't paying attention to your eyes.
Jasper Sanders now has run into the backfield for South Dakota. Riley Donovan is wide to the far side. Under center is Riley. Trevor Bama in the backfield, in motion now. The fake and the handoff comes to Sanders up the middle. And he is stopped down near the 45-yard line. Wednesdays at 7, see the drama unfold inside UCLA football with an all-access pass inside the Bruins 2014 season. It's Pac-12 Network's groundbreaking documentary, The Drive. Check out a new episode Wednesday at 7, right here on the Pac-12 Networks.
Can't wait to hear what's being said in that locker room after the Virginia game.
Well, the offense looked a little sluggish in the first half. I don't think they were happy with offensive line play in the first half, Glenn, but the defense, as we mentioned, was stout. And Brett Hundley finally got into some rhythm in the second half. Sanders, the lone man in the backfield. Here on second down. They flip it off to the near wing. Sanders dragging a tackler down near the 50, but not enough for a first down, but a gain of about 9 on the play.
Get your playmaker in space. Get him the ball fast. This ball's put where his running back can catch it on the move. Defender Derek Malone simply overruns the play. Sanders with a good job of stopping himself and getting moving. But here they are in a manageable third down again. So they're successful in what they're trying to do. It's only got them 3 points so far, but they're keeping their offense on the field.
3rd down and 3. And the pass gets away. Should have been a catchable ball. Jasper Sanders had it go right through his grasp and incomplete. Brings up a 4th down. Miles Bergner is on to boot it. Ifo Ekpre-Olamu, the senior, is back. He did not return a punt last year. He has just 2 in his career coming into this evening's game. Braylon Addison handled those duties a year ago, but Addison tore an ACL and a knee in April and is out. The flags fly as Ekpre-Olamu returns the ball. Referee tonight, Mark Duddy. The umpire is Tim Schroeder. And they will sort this one out.
See, they're looking around and they're writing down stuff. There seems like there's multiple penalties going on. They're trying to get this all straight. Like, all right, we got this guy over here, and we got to write him down, see? And then there was this guy.
There were 2 fouls. Both fouls were against the receiving team. Return team number 2. After the play, return team number 91. Both of these penalties are half the distance to the goal. First down, Oregon.
So, block in the back, unsportsmanlike conduct, both levied to Oregon. Ducks on top. We'll step aside, get right back to the action. 14-3 Oregon. Well, high expectations, of course, here in Eugene, Oregon, and in the Duck Nation. Glenn, they won 11, lost 2 last year, beat Texas at the Alamo Bowl. And there were some people that were very unhappy about the production of the Ducks. High expectations raised here, of course, because of their production. They've won 11 or better 3 consecutive years leading into last season.
Now, if you've got a program that's won a lot of national championships and you don't do well, they expect you to win it. This program has never won one, but they've done so well, people expect them to win it. A little unfair, a little ridiculous.
Tyner, after the 2 penalties, gets him out of the shadow of the goalpost, and he's dragging tacklers for a first down. And a bit more. Jacob Warner came up to get him out near the 20-yard line.
The expectations, that winning spoils people, and they want every game to be a win. Well, everybody's on scholarship out there.
Just the 4th time in the school's history that they had won 11 or better a year ago. So after the 2 penalties, the Ducks down near their goal line get out of it, and now it's first down. A deep ball here to the near side, broken up. Devon Allen, the intended receiver, redshirt freshman from Phoenix, Arizona. Chris Tyler was equal to the task. He got up there and tipped it away.
Now, you talk about some speed. He's got it because he actually slowed down. And Marcus has got an arm now. Mariota has an arm. He actually kind of had to slow down to jump for this ball. Mistimed his jump and his hands just a bit.
Devon Allen, one of the many youngsters that the folks are so interested in seeing. He's a great track man. And we're told that he has very definitely a football mentality. Marcus Mariota will keep it and works his way across the 25 near the 27-yard line and possibly a first down.
Looks like he's just short of the first, but I'm not sure it ever matters to them. They're just line up and that next play's ready to go anyways.
On 3rd down, they call Tyner's name again. Tyson Graham came up to get him, but the Ducks have a first down.
And interesting, they brought in Cameron Hunt at their right tackle spot instead of Jake Pisarcik. So they've made a small change there. Might just be trying to get everybody a little more playing time.
High snap gathered in by Mariota. Fires across the middle and the pass complete. Byron Marshall then got stoned just across the 50-yard line. Great catch, and he was able to hang on.
Tyson Graham, the free safety, comes from right off the seam to hit him. This ball's well thrown. It's a beautiful job of holding on to the ball. Safety didn't get there in time, but did level a blow.
Pickup of 18. Marshall bounces outside with a flare pass and got out near the 40-yard line.
We'll take a look at that one again, because the fact that he held on to the ball.
Run out by Jack Moreland.
It did look like Graham's hands hit Marshall in the face mask.
Graham, the free safety, good size, 6'2", 200. Rice Freeman in the lineup.
Now what you see right away out of Freeman, yes, he's bigger, but this is a north-south run, and the burst that he had, when he decided to go, he went. He saw the hole, and that's when he turned on the jets.
Freeman a gain in 9, the freshman from Imperial, California, true freshman. Drawing comparisons to Jonathan Stewart around here with the combination of quickness and that ability, as Glenn mentioned, to work it between tackles in traffic with force. Mariota back to throw, steadies, fires, guides one to the intended receiver. Pass complete to Darren Carrington, and he is dragged down right near the threshold of the goal line. A connection of 34 yards. Carrington, the redshirt freshman from San Diego, California.
And he had the defender draped all over it, and he made that catch. Great hands.
Handoff goes to Freeman, and he works his way up near the goal line. Touchdown, Oregon. Freeman 6 feet and 229, 9 plays, 97 yards in 2 minutes and 12 seconds. And again, Oregon strikes quickly.
Here's very simple little play action, and he finds straight down, sets up the touchdown there. Carrington, a nice job having the defender draped all over him and coming up with the ball still. I love the fact Mariota's eyes were off the safety, dragging him out of the picture. Then he can deliver it back to Carrington. Boy, Oregon's got an explosive offense. We talk about it. How many times do they get big plays? 67 times they've had them of 25 or more. How about 21 of 67 were for a touchdown? Man, they can get it done. Look at the amount of yards, the amount of explosive yards. 34% of that offense. Unbelievable. Marcus Mariota, of course, 71% of his explosive plays. Just a ton of it. And of those TD drives, 49 were 2 minutes or less. Phew. That's a good graphic. And they've had 2 tonight. So, love that graphic. All that smoke on the ball.
And we were wondering who he would throw to. Well, who won't he throw to? I mean, all these guys can catch the football. Marshall, Tyner coming out of the backfield. Freeman, Stanford already with a touchdown, and Carrington with that catch to set it up at the goal line. Shuford gets it out past the 25-yard line. Devin Allen's another guy they're going to figure to throw to. He's got a lot of speed, world-class hurdler. Let's go to Jill Savage with more on that story.
Absolutely, Kevin. Devin Allen last year redshirted in football, but did no such thing when it came to track and field. He went out there and won the national championship in the 110 hurdles, and he followed that up weeks later by claiming the U.S. track and field championship as well. He was the first athlete to do that since 1979. His time there in the NCAAs was 13.16, the second fastest time ever, Kevin.
Thank you, Jill. Scott Frost, the second-year offensive coordinator, told us in the meetings yesterday that this guy's got the speed of Ronaldo Nehemiah, who dominated the sport. The 110 high hurdles in the late 70s and later played for the San Francisco 49ers. But he said this guy very definitely has a football mentality, although he is a world-class track athlete.
Yeah, and the difference it's interesting. Most track athletes don't translate to football simply because when you run at full speed, and I've had track athletes on pro teams I was at, when they're running full speed, their head's bobbing, they can't see the ball. You got to be able to run at top speed while focusing on the ball. And interesting the dynamic between the difference between those two when it comes to athleticism.
2nd and 8 for South Dakota. Bama at the line of scrimmage is dragged down back to the original line of scrimmage. Let's check in now with an update from Mike Yam in San Francisco. Thank you, Mike. 21-3 here at Autzen Stadium. Number 3 Oregon operating smoothly. Already a couple of touchdown passes for Marcus Mariota. Past Joey Harrington, all time with 80 touchdowns. Too shy of Darren Thomas's 66 touchdown passes. This is Earl on the run for his life at the near side and run out of bounds near his own bench. May have gained a couple on the play.
There's a flag on the play. It was in the secondary, outside the numbers.
Look at Kevin Earl. I mentioned his dad, Robin. He was the lead blocker for Walter Payton when he played with the Chicago Bears.
Going to give him illegal contact or holding down there.
Defense. 10-yard penalty results in first down.
That's the 5th penalty on the Oregon Ducks. Now, is that cause for concern? Your first game of the year. You've got Michigan State coming in here next weekend, number 8 in the country. These are definitely things you need to clean up. They've already had 2 unsportsmanlike conduct penalties.
And those are the ones that worry you. You know, a holding or a formation can be fixed and they can be addressed, but the unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, that's a discipline, that's a mentality, and you got to fix those ones. You got to see what you can do.
42 yards already amassed in penalties charged against Oregon. 1st and 10, South Dakota. Earl back to throw on the run. Underthrew this one, incomplete. Drew Potter, the intended receiver.
And people say, well, what can you get out? What can an Oregon get out of playing South Dakota? Well, there's one right there. Can they have to figure out what's wrong. Okay, they've got some guys that are a little undisciplined out there, so you get that fixed, and they can get more guys involved in the game. So there's a lot for Oregon, or a program like Oregon, to get out of this game. And for South Dakota, just talking with Joe Glenn, hey, we can get better.
Trevor Bama, the lone man in the backfield for the Coyotes. Earl had to get rid of that quickly, and the receiver, Josh Vandermatten, was not ready to receive it.
Yeah, Arik Armstead is in the backfield, and he's a large human being. It's tough to throw over him, and it prevents a wall. Look at the size of him, 6'8".
They're down 10.
Third and 10 now for South Dakota. Earl stands in and delivers the goods near midfield. Riley Donovan collects possibly a first down.
It's going to be very close depending on where they spot it. And they say he's over the line.
Well, Earl's composure, Glenn's been very impressive here. He's 6'6", he's quick, as advertised. He can run out of trouble. That time he stood in there when things were crashing down around him.
Yeah, and because of his size and the fact that he's not a running quarterback, he's going to sit back there and try to sling that ball. He's not going to get rattled.
Turn the handoff and a nice tackle there near the line of scrimmage.
Well, Rodney Hardick, the linebacker, blew that play up from the start because he scraped into the lead blocker and just took him straight back into the feet of the running back.
First quarter comes to an end. Number 3 Oregon on top of South Dakota 21-3, and they struck first. Mariota going up top. Those are some kind of outfits right there.
And you know, they dress like this all the time in Eugene. I don't think it has anything to do with a football game.
21-3 score, Ducks on top. That was Glenn Parker. Kevin Calabro along with Jill Savage. Here is Earl, caught in the backfield and dragged down behind the 40-yard line by Tyson Coleman, who came up to grab him.
Yeah, Tyson Coleman comes through clean, does a nice job breaking down and making the tackle. So often, and how often do we see a quarterback make an easy move and avoid that? Not against Tyson Coleman. He wraps him up. You don't have a lot of plays in your playbook for 3rd and 20.
The offensive coordinator, Wes Beschorner, told us yesterday they're going to try to run some things against their man-to-man. He says the one thing I know for sure is we're not throwing near number 14.
Throw away from 14, he said.
Here comes 14. Ikpreolumu rushing from the edge. Earl gets rid of it to the far side. That's incomplete as Riley Donovan was out of bounds when he caught it. The All-American. You know, you talk about Mariota coming back, Grasu coming back, and then shortly after those two made their announcement, Ikpreolumu said, I'm coming back as well. Those are all guys that could have gone on to the next level with great success, huh?
Great, particularly Ifo Ikpreolumu. He is just really talented corner, and those are hard to come by.
Good contain down there. Ikpreolumu is upended by Tyson Graham. We'll step aside. Oregon on top, 21-3. Time now for our Red Vine Sweet Moment.
Marcus Mariota, better all the time as a QB. Why? Look at his eyes. He's looking out there. That safety, hey, I'm going to get out there. That's where the ball's going. No, it's not. He brings it right back after that safety moves. Finds Carrington for the shot. In case you don't know what I'm saying, look at this. If you're the safety, you run with that look. He comes right back. Great job looking off, and coming back with it. Really becoming a much better quarterback in that sense.
He's hit on 7 of 8. They'll hand off to Tyner, who's upended.
That's a rare loss for them. They've been averaging 12.3 yards on first down this game. It makes it easy when you get first downs on first down.
2 TDs, no interceptions for Mariota. He's always been an accurate passer, 66%. Career average all time. Best here at Oregon. Wessel breaks that one up for the Coyotes, and it brings up a 3rd and 12. Mariota pats it, flies it, and that one incomplete and nearly intercepted.
And he's going to kick himself when he watches the film because he had Keenan Lowe running underneath that route wide open. You see 7 in the middle of the field there. There's no one underneath him. It's an easier throw. He's going to see that on film and kick himself.
Steve Tellefson, the defender back there from his cornerback position. The intended receiver was Evan Bayless, the tight end. And so Oregon will kick for the first time tonight. Ian Wheeler angles this one down to Jasper Sanders. And Sanders able to muscle forward to midfield. That's where the Coyotes set up shop here in the second period from Austin.
Enjoy better.
My mentality is still the same. You know, I got to continue to get better, and you know, it's still competition out here. These guys are going to continue to push me, and you know, hopefully I'll push these guys.
And that was spectacular.
As we continue to grow as a unit, hopefully we can continue to make each other better.
You know, I think that you have to start, if you're talking about Pac-12 quarterbacks, with Marcus.
It kind of epitomizes this
athlete playing the position that can throw, that can run, and then he combines it with just a lot of poise.
He's fun to watch. He's not fun to play against.
Hey, he's the best quarterback in the nation.
Well, the numbers are gaudy. 31 touchdowns, 4 interceptions a year ago, over 3,600 yards, but he's a winner. 23-3 as a starter. That's what it's about, and he came back to win a national championship. Here's Earl back to throw. Quick strike and a beautifully thrown ball right on the money to his main man, Riley Donovan. Ekpreolomu in coverage makes the tackle.
I talked with a coach in the Missouri Valley Conference. He said this kid, Kevin Earl, good quarterback. He's very accurate. And you see it. This is a long ball. It's thrown on a string, on a rope, however you want to call it. That thing gets in there. He's not afraid to challenge that secondary. He's throwing it in there.
They went at Ekpreolomu that time. Trevor Bama in the backfield. That's their longest gain of the evening. Pickup is 16 for the first down at the Oregon 34-yard line. Jordan Roberts with a handoff, and he's able to grind ahead near the line of scrimmage. May have been dropped back for a loss of a couple.
And you can see it's hard to get movement for Youngstown State's offensive line.
Set down to the field, and Jill Savage talking about that D-line. It's just been awesome.
Well, Kevin, the D-line with Alex Balducci, Eric Armstead, and DeForest Buckner has always been referred to as the young guys on the line. Well, the three are now juniors and have to be the leaders. Defensive coordinator Don Pelham said that 6 months ago they were happy having the other guys making the calls, but now he has to tell them to slow down. They've done such a great job taking ownership.
Second 11 here, Jill. They load up in the front, and they find a man out on the far side of the man-to-man. Schubert makes the catch and leans ahead for a pickup of a first down. Right now, South Dakota has found some nice rhythm offensively. That's a gain of 13.
Well, you know, first off, defense is playing a little vanilla. And Kevin Earl's got an arm. He can throw. Receivers are catching it. They're not letting it get to their body. They're fundamentally sound. South Dakota, they know their job here is to get better as a team, regardless of the outcome.
Bama is back in. Riley Donovan flanked out wide to the right of Kevin Earl, the quarterback. On first down. Second man through, gets the carry and sprawls across the 10-yard line. Ball coughed up. Ball loose to the turf, but ruled down on the play. South Dakota will retain possession. Eric Dargan came up to finally put the stop on the ball carrier, Trevor Bama.
Bama hit the hole very hard, very fast on the backside. But wow, form tackle by Dargan. Get your body low, wrap up, and get through them. That's how they teach it.
First and goal to go for South Dakota. The Coyotes trailing 21-3. And Kevin Earl doesn't like what he sees when he approaches the line of scrimmage. He calls a timeout. And we'll come right back to Autzen Stadium, where South Dakota is deep in the red zone. The 21-3 here in the second. Oregon out on top of South Dakota. Glenn Parker, Kevin Calabro on hand. What are you seeing out there right now?
Well, they're very balanced in their attack. South Dakota's done a very nice job. They're running the ball. They're running inside. They're throwing the ball at two different levels, so they're attacking deep and short as well as side to side, and they're balanced in their attack as far as run and pass. They've had 3 plays of over 10 yards in this drive alone. Of course, accuracy out of the quarterback helps a lot too. He's been accurate and he's putting the ball where it has to be.
He's been impressive. He has not turned the ball over. 7 of 13 so far. And the flag flies.
Fullback move. That would be Drew Potter.
5-yard penalty.
He just fell forward under his hand.
Remains first down. Joe Glenn, 27 years a head coach in college football. Back here at his alma mater, South Dakota. Earl sends two out wide to his right. Two men in the backfield and a man in motion. Earl back to throw. Looks right, now left. Pump fake. He's going to keep it. Blockers ahead across the 10 to the 5. And then knocked down at the 2-yard line.
These South Dakota offensive linemen are no dummies. They gave him protection, and they watched on the scramble. When he started running, they formed up a wedge and went forward. You know, we know offensive linemen are generally the smartest guys on the team, but holy cow, that's a great job. He sits back, he looks. Now, pay attention. They see him and say, well, all right, let's go. And they got a running back in there as well. Trevor Bama. Another play of over 10 yards, by the way, Kevin.
That Olumu, Glenn over on the sideline. He limped off. They're looking at his left ankle. On second down, Earl again pump fakes, fades one near the far pylon for Riley Donovan, sailed it over his head.
Well, smart throw, because if he threw that on target, that was going the other way. Dior Mathis was on good coverage, and if that ball is anywhere near the receiver, it's a pick six.
Eric Schubert, the junior from Rialto, California, comes back in for South Dakota. He's going to flank out wide to the right. Trevor Bama, the lone man in the backfield on third down for Kevin Earl. And another flag flies.
This time it was the tailback, but interesting, because he simulated the start of the play. If he had kept moving sideways, it would have just been a man in motion. But because he stopped, it's the simulation of a start of a play. You can't be moving forward at the snap of the ball, and you can't do what he did and kind of play statue.
Game time, please reset the clock to 9:37.
Is there anything that Oregon was doing at the line of scrimmage in the previous two plays in which they were penalized, or is it just crowd noise? What is it that's causing that?
Combination of both. The linebackers are stepping up to the line. Often the defensive linemen are twitching, and it's loud out there. You can't hear a darn thing.
Third down, Earl. Hard rush to his right. He's going to throw this away before he's dragged down. Terrific pressure from three different points coming at him. Armstead was the first to get to him.
I'm going to look. It's good pressure. They all stay in their lanes. They're not going to give up the scramble, and everybody's covered. Now, Oregon has ultimate amount of respect for their abilities. They played hard man and kept enough guys in the box, daring them to throw the ball.
Miles Bergner looking for his second field goal of the evening. Chips this one up. A 25-yarder is good. Ekpre Olumu, as we mentioned, was dinged and came out after this play.
And you can see when he was on his coverage, his leg picked up, he stopped, and they've been looking at him. And there was no contact, there wasn't a twist of the ankle. Interesting to just hope that he's okay.
First team All-American and a two-time Pac-12 first team. Well, stay tuned for the State Farm Halftime Report with Mike Yam, Rick Neuheisel, Curtis Conway, and Matt Leinart as they take a look back at number 7 UCLA's win at Virginia. Number 15 USC looking very good. And the number 25 Huskies with Chris Peterson coaching his first game of the Huskies in Hawaii. Well, South Dakota hurt themselves down near the Oregon goal line with a couple of penalties. Marcus Mariota waits with 9:26 to go here in the first half. He's already thrown a couple of touchdown passes.
One wonders how much longer we'll be seeing him tonight.
Keenan Lowe is back for the Ducks. And Berkner gets into this one. And the penalty is he put it right off the foot and out of bounds. Looked good last night. Yeah. Terrence Jones-Grigsby running the football. Austin Hill is back. Trey Griffey had a couple of impressive catches last night as well. Devin Allen is back to receive the kickoff. Miles Bergner now will let it go from the 30-yard line.
So it was kicked out of bounds, and they were South Dakota was offside, so they chose to have them kick off again.
Low bouncer along the carpet, handled by the hands team, the up men. And across the 42-yard line comes Oregon. DeForest Buckner is able to scoop it up and carry it forward.
First down for the Ducks, center on 42.
Well, this is the best field position so far this evening for the Oregon Ducks. And again, Mariota will come out. Mariota tonight a couple of touchdowns, 173 yards, 7 of 10 through the air. Tyner alongside. Tyner gets the carry left side, a couple of blocks, try to cut it back inside, avoids a tackler, and it's hit from the back flow and down near midfield. A gain of 6 on the play.
He had some nice blocking from his big fellas out in front of him. Amani Stevens out there to get some guys out, bodies in motion.
Tyner 5 carries, 35 yards. Mariota back to throw, has a first down. That one complete to Darren Carrington, who's already caught a touchdown pass this evening.
So fast and so explosive, this offense. Huge gain on first again. Just get, if you're going to, South Dakota said they just want to keep everything in front of them, and so far they really haven't been able to accomplish that. There's Oregon just taking advantage of holes out there.
Inside handoff and a first down. Banging ahead again was Thomas Tyner.
Thomas Tyner, part of that new mentality. Take the ball. You don't have to outrun people. You can run through people. Kind of got a little game. Little gimpy. He's over there getting attended to.
Byron Marshall will step in for him. Marshall, the junior, 5'10" and 205. Pac-12's top returning rusher with over 1,000 yards a year ago. Mario pressured, works it out, surveys, will keep it, and gets it across the 30-yard line in Coyote territory. Chains move again.
John Wessel, the linebacker there, has got to be just a little distraught when he thought he had an angle, and then Mariota decided to turn on the jets. You watch, he's kind of galloping, and then he puts his foot down and outruns the linebacker. You think you're going to get a shot on him, and you didn't realize he had another gear.
Take a look at this set now. You've got Marshall to the right of Mariota and Royce Freeman, the freshman, to the left side. It's Freeman who will get the catch. He'll sprint here to the near side, a burst of speed, and into the end zone. Royce Freeman goes 26 yards. Oregon touchdown. How about that burst, Glenn? He made it look easy.
Well, he's that combination of size and speed. A little misdirection with Marshall in the backfield. Gives you good angles on all your blocks for your linemen. And then he just has to outrun one guy, really. They've got another weapon. That's scary.
And I love the way Scott Frost has integrated all three of these guys effectively. Tyner, Marshall, and Freeman.
Yeah, who do you prepare for? I said, well, they got a lot of things they can do.
The Ducks open it up 28-6, and a real buzz here before the game. Folks here to see the Ducks and this freshman, Royce Freeman, out of Imperial, California. Number 3, Oregon Ducks in command here at home. 7:41 to go in the first half, leading South Dakota 28-6. Royce Freeman, combination of quickness and power, 6 feet 229, scores a touchdown.
He must be sick. He looked all swollen up. Oh, thick.
Power runner with sprinter speed, and they love his mature approach. So he's quiet, he's all ears, very respectful. Sanders will return the kickoff, bounces out here to the near side, dragged down near the 25. Let's go to Mike Yam with an update in San Francisco.
All right, Kevin, it's a Go RVing game break. UW Hawaii Huskies down 10-7 in the second quarter. Jeff Lindquist to John Ross. Second touchdown of the game for him. He could add 3 more points on a field goal. 17-10. Chris Peterson's squad, they're in control.
Thank you, Mike. A look at Kevin Earl, who led his team effectively on their last series. Down near the Oregon goal line, only to settle for a field goal. He's back now and pressured. Earl bounces out of the pocket, pump fakes, tried to find a man along the sideline, and did. Jordan Roberts.
That was an incredible throw by Kevin Earl. Now, the defense does a nice job. They flush him. They do everything he can. Incredible coverage in the secondary. Draped all over the receiver, and he somehow puts it right along the sideline, and this guy can get it. Quarterback wasn't looking to run. He was looking to throw, keeping his eyes downfield, finding his man.
Brings up 2nd and 3, and he sends 2 wide here to his left side. Jordan Roberts, the lone man in the backfield, the sophomore from Sheridan, Wyoming. Roberts will get it. Full head of steam. And he is stopped shy of the first down. DeForest Buckner with the tackle. Down to Jill Savage.
Well, Kevin, you saw Ifo Ekpre-Olumu leave the game a couple minutes ago. Trainers were working on his left foot. He was running around here on the sidelines in place and trying to make some cuts on it. He wasn't happy with it. They re-wrapped that left foot, and he continued to talk to trainers for about the next 5 minutes here on the sidelines, still walking a little gingerly on that, so we do not know if he will return tonight or not, Kevin.
Thank you, Jill.
And you notice by that replay we just saw that he had his left foot already taped. It was already spatted.
Down to 1 on the play clock. Naked bootleg. Here comes Earl looking for the first down across the 30. He's got to get it to the 34, and he's just shy about a yard.
And that's probably why they don't feature him in the run game quite as often. He doesn't have that speed. Pretty good at runner is for a guy who doesn't run that much, but not enough to get away from a defender of that speed.
So it brings up 4th down, Glenn, and Keenan Lowe back to receive the punt at his own 30-yard line. High wobbler that goes straight up and checks up at about the 47-yard line. Great field position for the Oregon Ducks. Next Saturday, another great slate of football on the Pac-12 networks, all starting at noon with regional action. Utah squaring off against Fresno State. Cal faces Sacramento State in the Bears home opener. The 25th ranked Huskies battle Eastern Washington at Chris Peterson's Seattle debut. And then at 7, the 7th ranked UCLA Bruins host Memphis at the Rose Bowl. Check pac-12.com for games in your area.
Memphis Tigers coming to the Rose Bowl. I'll be doing that one. Kevin, looking forward to Rose Bowl. Such a nice venue.
Bruins win on the road today, beat Virginia. Handoff. Byron Marshall has room. Sprinting. 10. Can he beat the defenders? He can. Into the end zone. Touchdown. Byron Marshall goes 54 yards with this burst.
Marshall. He dropped the ball before he got to the line of scrimmage. They're going to mark that on a about the half-yard line, I bet. They're going to take a look right now at it. Because it's a scoring play, they review it. Let's see if we can see it. Now we'll know he drops it here. It'll be the other angle. We'll see whether he's short of the goal line or not. See, his mind, he's moving faster than he is. And that ball's out of his grasp before it crosses the line. And now the question is, does it go out of bounds from inside the end zone? It does. It is a touchback, and it'll be South Dakota's ball going the other way.
But it looked like it went off a defender's foot.
It doesn't matter because he had possession, and it goes out the end zone in the sideline. It's out of bounds. It's not a touchdown.
I don't think he had possession of the ball when the ball crossed the threshold, did he?
Yep. So I think that's going to be I think they'll rule this a touchback, South Dakota ball.
Marshall has already run for a touchdown here this evening, or actually caught a ball for a touchdown.
So I think it's going to be a touchback. I think South Dakota's going to have the ball at the 20 going out. I've been wrong on these a lot, though, as you know.
I think you may have it right on this one. I don't think he had control of the ball when the ball crossed the goal line. It clearly went out.
Got another look at it here, one more time. That ball's out of his hands. That ball's out of bounds. Out, not out the back, out of bounds. Doesn't matter.
After review, the runner dropped the ball at the half-yard line. The ball went into the end zone and out of bounds. By rule, this is a touchback. South Dakota's ball, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line.
Touchback indeed, Glenn. You got it.
Well, even a blind pig finds an acorn now and then.
So what's the discussion there going on between the coach and Marshall?
Probably telling him to relax. Probably, it's not the end of the world. It's a good teaching moment for him right there.
Gary Campbell, the running backs coach. Gary's been around 20 plus years. I'm sure he's seen something like that happen a time or two.
I'm sure he has.
Now Marshall will find his way into the end zone several more times this year. 14 touchdowns a year ago. So the Coyotes take over at their own 20. And they quickly go to an opener. And here's a ball that gets to the deck, fumbled away. And Oregon gets it right back. Dior Mathis was the man that jumped on it.
Good job. Defender coming up, putting his helmet right on the ball. They'll teach you how to tackle. You hit the ball. He breaks through, and that helmet comes right up. He just loses that ball. Upset with himself.
Here at Oregon, they talk about sudden change a lot after that heartbreaking touchback. Oregon on the first play in which South Dakota possesses, pries it free. Now let's see if they can strike. Mariota, the far sideline. And the pass caught but out of bounds. Charles Nelson, freshman from Daytona Beach, makes the catch but out of bounds.
Nice job catching the ball. Great way to go up for it. Defender does a nice thing. It's Chris Tyler knocking him out of bounds.
Brings up 2nd and 10. Bouncing out again is the youngster, Royce Freeman. Chris Tyler comes up to make the stop from his cornerback position. Mark Helfrich, the 40-year-old, 5th year on the staff, 2nd year as the head coach of the Ducks, 11-2 a year ago. Ranked number 9 at the end of the year. Here is Freeman again, breaking across the 30-yard line for a first down.
So he scored a touchdown on that play going the other way earlier, and you can see what they're using him for. He's a battering ram. His style is not as elusive as others. He's got the breakaway speed, which you love, but he's also got the ability to smash through tackles.
Now they're going to put him back there in the backfield with Byron Marshall. Mariota fakes the handoff, has a man wide open, gathering in it over the shoulders. Byron Marshall, who came scooting out of the backfield.
And Mariota's probably going to be mad at himself because he threw this ball almost right into the chest of Marshall. They lose sight of him coming out like they did earlier on a touchdown. And of course, Marshall's probably a little upset that he didn't just reel that thing in and keep running.
17-yard pickup, first down. Mariota pressured, bouncing, angling. The pass for the touchdown. Byron Marshall gets into the end zone again. Marshall's had a heck of an evening catching the football.
That's where the maturity we see in Marcus Mariota. Gets the ball when he could be running. Many times he would have. He goes sideways and looks downfield and finds the receiver. Finds Marshall over there. That's a different level of QBing than he showed most of last year.
4 catches, 2 touchdowns for Byron Marshall. And Oregon on top 35-6, 3:57 to go in the second. So after they gave the ball back to South Dakota on the touchback, they forced the turnover and then they capitalized.
Marshall does a nice job of staying alive and getting himself into space. Mariota can find him. See, Mariota runs sidelines, gets along that line of scrimmage to see that. He could easily run that in. And I guarantee you 2 years ago would have, and probably earlier last year would have.
Jill Savage, let's check in with you.
Well, Mark Helfrich was asked this offseason about, could this possibly be the rebirth of LaMichael James and Kenyon Barner in Byron Marshall and Thomas Tyner? He said, hey, if that's the case, I'll take it. But Marshall and Tyner are a little bit more diverse at this point in their careers than LaMichael and Kenyon were, because both of those guys have the ability to be great route runners. He said, we hadn't seen it yet, but guys, we've seen that certainly here tonight.
Well, Jill, you've seen them play before. In your estimation, these guys that you just mentioned, the newcomers, Tyner, Marshall, and Freeman, they seem to be guys that run between the tackles with force. Not that the other guys didn't, but these guys are really something. They're thick.
South Dakota will have it on the 20.
Check out Royce Freeman.
Well, you were talking about thick. Let's look at this guy. And he's built, he's big, he's fast, uses his body to smash in there. He's just maybe a little different type of player that they needed. And this shows the breakaway speed that he possesses. He broke 1 tackle to get out there. He's got some speed. I don't know that he's elusive. I don't know that he wants to be. I think he wants to run you over a little bit. I think he's got some of that in him.
South Dakota goes to work. 1st and 10, 3:57 to go here in the first half. Jasper Sanders, the man in the backfield. Working his way left side, quick opener. He's got 1 man to beat. He's across the 50, pursued from behind, and runs out of bounds near here at the 30-yard line.
Well, I've been impressed with Sanders on his returns. He's done a nice job. And right there, breaks out, gets that second level quick because linebackers have come up. Kind of some of the twist on the defensive line took him out of the play. But you certainly see a little difference in team speed right there. He broke out and everybody caught him.
Reggie Daniels and D.R. Mathis finally run him out of bounds. They give it to Bama. Trevor Bama is wrestled down inside the 30.
Trevor Bama carries brought down by Joe Walker after a gain of 2.
Glenn, overall from Oregon, what have you seen here in the first half?
Overall, you've seen what we expected. They played pretty much base defense, manned up quite a bit because I think they respect who they are. and they've gotten good pressure. Probably giving up more yards than they want, but that's a process of the type of defense they're running out right now. And offensively, quick strike, explosive, and fast.
Timeout called on the field. The running backs have been on display here in Oregon tonight. Freeman, Marshall, Tyner. Look at the numbers.
Yeah, and Royce Freeman with his 2 touchdowns. Of course, Byron Marshall has 2 touchdowns, but they're receiving. Thomas Tyner, he's got his yards. That's going to be scary for any team. You know, it's one thing to have to face one good back, and a team might not have a quarterback to go with it, or they don't have receivers. When they've got a quarterback and the backs and then the wide receivers and the offensive line, that's a lot of things there. That's why they're ranked kind of high, I think.
You know, we talked about the wide receivers. Josh Huff moving on. Anthony Thomas moving on. The injury to Braylon Addison. They've come up with other ways to find guys out there, get them in space with the football.
Yeah, obviously getting the ball to your backs out of the backfield is one thing, and that's going to open up a lot of other things for you. The offense is certainly multiple.
Pass from Earl, thrown down there to the intended receiver and broken up. D.R. Mathis in coverage. Well, Sanders, the intended receiver.
He gets back there, and this is a good shot by this offense. But Kevin Earl needs to put a little more air under this ball. This ball comes in low and behind. He gets this over the top. Give Sanders a chance to jump for that ball.
Hit Mathis in the back.
And our receiver in the booth with us, statistician Sam Pullis, brought up a good point. The receiver should stop, make the defender run right into him.
Earl on 3rd down, flare pass right side, man wide open. Bama gets out to the far corner and across the 20-yard line for the first down.
Well, Joe Glenn told us that, you know, we're going to come out, we're going to play hard, and we're going to move the ball, we think. And they've done that.
Ifo Ekpre-Olumu continues to stay on the sideline for Oregon with 1:59 to go here in the first half. 2 men in the backfield. Potter and Sanders now for South Dakota. The turn, the handoff, and again a quick opener to Sanders, angling across the 10 to the 5 and dragged down near the 2-yard line. Tyree Robinson came over from his safety position to finally drag him down, but he picked up 16 on the play.
South Dakota's offensive line, they're getting man up. They're keeping color on color, and Sanders good enough to make a jump cut. Even though it's all pretty much stalemates across the board, he makes a jump cut, finds that hole, and he can get out there.
With a timeout, Oregon number 3, preseason ranked in the country, joined by 5 other teams in the conference.
You know, a lot of ranked teams in this conference. In the top 25, 6 of them in there. Started with Oregon, but then UCLA, which survived a little bit of a scare with Virginia. Stanford, big win today. USC looked really impressive. Arizona State, of course, on Thursday, beating Weber State and Washington in a battle today with Hawaii. So, 6 teams in the top 25. I think probably end up with 3 in the top 10, maybe 4 in the top 10, depending on how the season moves along.
And hopefully 1, who knows, maybe 2 in the Final Four.
I'd certainly like to see 1 come out, but it's awfully hard to get through this conference undefeated.
Playing 9 times in conference, and then, of course, the conference championship to be played in Santa Clara, California for the first time. All right, South Dakota goes to work on first out. Earl, the handoff, looks like they've got a touchdown. They do, as Trevor Bama sails into the end zone. Touchdown, South Dakota.
Well, you see lead block, Potter. Tight end, Barkley. Great job. Offensive line gets a little movement. You love the fact your tight end, and I actually think it was Aaron Ramsey, the redshirt freshman, Great movement by the tight end block. Springs this.
6 plays, 75 yards, 2 minutes and 21 seconds, the time of possession. And Bergner gets into this one for the extra point.
75 yards in 6 plays.
South Dakota, very competitive ball club. Offensively, they've done some things here that they can certainly go home and feel good about. They trail at 35-13 halfway through. They were picked to finish 10th in the Missouri Valley Conference. Got off to a 4-2 start a year ago and then lost their final 5 games of the year.
Missouri Valley Conference is very competitive with North Dakota State, South Dakota State, of course, Youngstown State. I actually, earlier, I made a mistake and said Youngstown State. There are so many good teams in that conference that have wins over FBS schools. Very similar like the Big Sky Conference in abilities.
It's their 3rd year in the conference. And Joe Glenn guiding them. 27 years as a head coach, his 3rd year at South Dakota. Trying to rebuild the program. Bergner runs up on this one. End over end chip shot at the 20. Gathered in at the near side by Allen, trying to angle to the middle, and he is knocked down.
Allen on the return. Brought down by Adam Harris.
Well, this is much longer than we thought Marcus Mariota would be playing in this ball game, Glenn.
Yeah, you wonder, how long they're going to keep him in. And for that matter, the other starters as well. You know, you at 35-13, do you want more? Do you need more? Well, maybe they have other things they want to work on with them, and that's probably the story.
Mariota back to throw. Guns one here to the near side, and Darren Carrington makes the catch. Carrington's been very effective this evening.
Gain of 11, first down.
It's a pickup of 11. Carrington, a redshirt freshman from San Diego, California. Dwayne Stanford, a redshirt sophomore, and other youngsters already caught a touchdown pass through the air.
Now, interesting, they lined Byron Marshall up in the slot this time. So that what they're kind of messing with their personnel package. You know, they got a couple backs in there, put Marshall out in the slot. So that explains to us what they're you know, they've got some things they're obviously working on, and they want people to see. They want Michigan State to see some odd things and have to practice against it.
Oregon calling a timeout. Take a look at the road to the Pac-12 championship, brought to you by UPS. Well, North versus South. Stanford has beaten Oregon the last 2 years to keep them from the championship. Who do you expect this year, Glenn?
Well, I up here, you know, it's going to come down to November 1st. Oregon's going to play Stanford. Big game, and the winner of that usually gets to that championship. And I don't know that anybody from the South can beat those two teams just yet, but it's going to be fun to watch.
Mariota will look to throw and finds a man again in the form of Darren Carrington. Gain of 14 on the play. 1:02 remaining here in the half.
The Coyote 49.
Mariota 182 yards this evening. Throws this one to Keenan Lowe, but threw it down to the turf. Lowe unable to come up with it. Incomplete.
That's the first bad throw I've seen him make. The ball just wobbled on him and dropped.
Under a minute remaining. Mariota will keep it. He'll pitch to Marshall at the edge. Drags a tackler down to the 45-yard line.
Well, Jet Moreland, the outside backer, did a nice job on that tackle in open field.
Another timeout. Take a look at the last 2 years when Oregon did meet Stanford. Marcus Mariota has not beaten Stanford. November 17, 2012, Autzen Stadium. Jordan Williamson was the difference maker. 37-yard field goal in overtime as number 13 Stanford upset Oregon 17-14. And the Ducks, of course, denied a chance to the BCS title game. And then, Glenn, on November 7th, Kevin Hogan, sensational, ran for a TD, played mistake-free football. Stanford stymies number 3 Oregon for 3 quarters. Ducks rallied, a couple of touchdown passes by a nicked-up Mariota in the 4th quarter. Not enough as Stanford won that night, 26-20. Mariota back to throw after the timeout. Pump fakes long, throws left, pressure release, and Tyner runs out of bounds. Tyner ran him out. So how in the world does Oregon beat Stanford this year? I guess it comes down to what happens up front, doesn't it?
Yeah, offensively, your offensive line has to get pushed. As Coach Frost, the offensive coordinator, Scott Frost, told us, hey, listen, we got to have more wins than stalemates. We had too many stalemates. Bigger backs that can dish out a little more punishment rather than run side to side. I think that's part of it. And defensively, your defensive line's got to win the battle up there.
Mariota flushed, sets up and throws it out of bounds. Flags fly.
Well, this looked to me like one of the guys signaled ineligible receiver downfield. You get a scramble, big fella start running. Takes a lot of energy to get all that mass to go.
There's no foul for an ineligible receiver downfield. The ball was thrown away. It's an incomplete pass.
Well, there you go.
Down.
The thought process was correct, but the call was a little different than we expected.
They pick up the laundry, and so it brings up 2nd down. 35 seconds left in the first half. Thomas Tyner, the back offset. Mariota back to throw, pressured on the run. He's going to get the first down. Angles to the far sideline, stops the clock with 26 seconds remaining in the half.
Little things you see out of Marcus every game where he gets a little better. First thing he did upon getting out of bounds, check the clock. Looked right up. All right, how much time have I got?
Again, back to the line of scrimmage. Tyner is the lone man in the backfield. Fake the handoff. Mariota guns one up the middle. Pass complete. It's Marshall tumbling near the goal line. Where did he catch it? Looks like it was at the 1 where he was stopped.
Well, he lines up in the slot, and this is what they talk about, working on new things. You put him in the slot, people tend to lose him.
Mariota will sail into the end zone on his own 2 feet. Touchdown, Oregon. Well, Mariota got him the first down. He had 26 seconds left, and 12 seconds later, after the pass to Marshall down to the 1-yard line, he glides in for the touchdown. 10-play drive, 76 yards, and a minute 22, Glenn. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plays of a minute and a half or less scoring drives.
Yeah, you know, we're going to have to start just keeping track of how many drives last more than 2 minutes. It's going to be easier on us the whole season.
Well, bad hole, ball blocked, and South Dakota will scoop it up.
Unfortunately, they didn't pick it up, because if he hadn't been on the run and could have scored, he gets the 2, and you know, it's a couple more points for him.
Marcus Mariota doing it with the arm and on the ground.
Yeah, he's got so many weapons. We know how explosive they are. He finds Marshall with that pass, and then this time simple little zone read. They crash, he keeps and is around. It's got to be frustrating for defenses, not only the amount of weaponry they have, but how well they conceal the intention of the play with that first bit of zone read fake.
Mariota now has the record, Glenn. He picked up 1 touchdown to move ahead of Joey Harrington for Oregon's #1 total touchdowns at 80. And now with his touchdown passing, he's got 3 now. Needs just one more to break Darren Thomas's record of 66, so he has tied that record. And we've got some battling going on here at midfield. Nothing unusual on the kickoff as Marcus Mariota looks on. His night, I would think, is probably done with 14 seconds left in the first half.
I would agree, but maybe there's other things, like we said, that they're going to try to come up with.
Made the announcement in early December. Mark Helfrich said he was on a recruiting trip when he learned that Marcus Mariota had made the announcement that he was coming back. And in the same announcement, they announced that Heranis Grasu was coming back as well.
That's a good day when you're an Oregon coach.
It sure is.
And then a little while later, you hear from Ekwe Olomu. He's coming back. Yeah, you're kind of happy.
Roberts will keep it at South Dakota. Winds it down here in the first half, trailing the number 3 ranked Ducks at Autzen Stadium 41-13. Mariota 14 of 20, 266 yards, 3 touchdowns through the air, and ran for another one. Let's go down to Jill Savage standing by.
Coach, I heard you emphasize finish several times here on the sideline. What's the message at half?
Well, we just didn't tackle very well, and not scoring a touchdown. We're on a walk-in touchdown, completely undisciplined. That's on me, and we'll definitely fix that. But yeah, as unhappy as you could be at 41-13 right now.
How about Royce Freeman's performance? So in the first half, his first time here in a Duck uniform.
Yeah, he's playing like he trained, and that's encouraging. The guy's been a special player in fall camp, and it's good to see that translate to game time.
Thank you so much. Kevin?
As unhappy as you could be, leading 41-13 at half, he said.
Isn't it great that that's the response? He knows he's got a lot of talent out there, and he realizes he's coach speak when he tells you all this, but with a sly grin, he gives it to you.
41-13 halfway through. Let's take it to our Pac-12 Network studio for the State Farm Halftime Report. Standing by is Mike Yam. Ducks on top of this one, as you might expect, leading South Dakota. The Coyotes, 41-13. Number 3, the Oregon Ducks. Glenn Parker, Kevin Calabro back here at Autzen Stadium. Mark Helfrich was not happy with his team's performance at half. He told Jill Savage, I'm about as unhappy as a guy could be leading 41-13 at half. Why?
Well, there's things that they can work on. You have penalties. You have undisciplined penalties like unsportsmanlike conduct, late hits, things like that. That drives you nuts.
Well, they have been able to mix old with new, and the young guys have really excited people here.
Well, they have. Hey, Marcus Mariota, there's the old, right? Look at what he does. He looks, that safety bites up because his eyes are wrong. Look at all the field they had to throw to. He nails it. And then you talk about new, hey, you like some of the things you have. This new kid, Freeman, right? Big kid, got some speed, little play action. Sucks everybody up in there, right? Because it's that same zone look. But instead it's coming the other side on in this direction. Now he's got enough when he bellies away. He's got the speed to burst and get going. Now, really what the story of the night is first down for the Ducks. They've been so explosive on first down. Of all their yards, 465, 294 have come on first down. 10 yards per play, 5 touchdowns. Unbelievable. They've had 4 explosive plays on first down. Impressive.
And those 5 touchdown campaigns, a minute and a half or less time of possession.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to start talking about how often they score when it takes more than 2 minutes.
South Dakota receives to start the second half. Eric Schufert looking for a home run out of bounds inside his own 20-yard line. That's where Kevin Earl will set up shop. Earl has had his moments in moving the Coyotes down the field.
First down, Coyotes at the 19.
Earl was 9 of 18 in the first half, 95 yards. Does not have a touchdown pass. They did run for one. And they've been efficient. They have been guilty of one turnover. Here's the handoff. They've been able to do this on a regular basis, Glenn. Those little quick openers, little slants. Jordan Roberts picks up 13 yards on the play. Now that one I would think would concern the Oregon Ducks when you're going up against a ground attack like the Spartans possess. Michigan State we're talking about next weekend here at Autzen Stadium.
What would concern you more is that they pulled their left guard just like they're going to see against Michigan State, and in particular like they're going to see against Stanford. They pulled the left guard. He led right through the hole. There was a bit of a delay with your back because he let it set up and he was gone.
So that's a first down, and Earl's back to throw. Flushed. That ball got loose. It looked like his arm may have been pulled back as he tried to throw the ball, push it forward, and it ended up wobbling, and they're lucky they didn't turn that over. Brings up second down.
That's where he needs to be smarter and either run or tuck that ball and drop. You see here, he'll be harassed, and now he's already in the clutches. He doesn't need to try to throw that ball. He can't get anything on it. Only bad things can happen.
Arik Armstead, the man in the backfield for Oregon. Hard rush. Earl avoids Tony Washington, but Washington's pressure forces him up right into the grasp of two other defenders.
Yeah, it's as if Kevin Earl expected him to be blocked or never look out there. You know, this is an outside backer, and he's on the edge of the line. Yeah, he's outside your tight end, but you've got to be aware. You got to know where your protection's going, who's going to be free.
Balducci finally knocked him down. Alex Balducci from Portland, Oregon. And now 3rd and 14 for the Coyotes from Vermillion, South Dakota. Earl guns one, had a man wide open, but threw it, blew it away, and the intended receiver was Eric Schuford.
That was the worst series by far that we've seen out of Kevin Earl. He's been accurate. He's been, for the most part, making good decisions, and that series doesn't bode well for the second half for the Coyotes.
Miles Bergner will kick it. Keenan Lowe is the man back, settling under it. Make it Charles Nelson. Nelson will fair catch. Oregon will take over. We head to the third quarter. We'll step aside with the Ducks leading 41-13.
There's lessons learned in the 2 defeats, and then there's a ton of lessons to be learned from the 11 wins. You know, a lot of those wins we didn't play as cleanly as we should have, could have.
We understand that we play in a tough conference, and we can't come out flat. You know, we'll get beat. So we have to prepare ourselves for each and every single week, because we understand that the competition within this conference is very high.
They don't put 50 points on the board just because our O comes walking in the stadium, and I think some young guys maybe kind of, you know, thought that. And so it's been a great wake-up call, I think, for everyone.
Well, reflections of Coach and Marcus Mariota on last year when they went 11-2 and ranked number 9 at the end of the year after beating Texas in the Alamo Bowl. Jeff Locke is your new quarterback now for the Ducks, rolling out to his left, throwing on the run. The right-hander with a completion to Charles Nelson. The freshman from Daytona Beach has run out of bounds just shy of the first down. Locke, the 6'2" redshirt sophomore from Alamo, California, played in 6 games and was 8 for 13, did not have a touchdown, had 1 interception a year ago. He'll hand off to the left side. And again, running very efficiently is Thomas Tyner. He's had quite a night tonight. He's been a workhorse. A gain of 7 there and a first down.
He's upset with himself because if he can make that guy miss or break that tackle, he's gone.
So Locke, with all those weapons, goes to work. Tyner again in the backfield. Tyner surveys at the line and then plows ahead across the 50 for pickup of a few on the play. So Marcus Mariota's night is over. What a night it was already. 14-20, 267 yards. He had 3 touchdowns. And of course, Marcus Mariota can put it on the ground. 6 carries, 43 yards, and a touchdown as well. So 4 for the night. Tyner going left side, and again, he is upended. Again, Marcus needed 1 touchdown to move ahead of Joey Harrington for Oregon's #1 in total touchdowns. He did that. Needed 4 TD passes to break Darren Thomas's record of 66. That record will have to wait. He has tied it. A little procedure call on Oregon.
Offense, number 6, 5-yard penalty.
Penalties have been an issue. 5 penalties in the first half. Mark Helfrich made note of, reading between the lines, sloppy play in the first half. And of course, the drop ball by Byron Marshall at the goal line when Glenn had appeared he had a touchdown in his sights. He had men beat. All he had to do was put the ball across the goal line, but he dropped it at the 1. Mark Helfrich at half told Joe Savage, "That's on me. We'll definitely address that," as Tyner grabs one coming out of the backfield.
So when you're a player and you hear that comment, you know, oh no, it's going to be a long week. We're going to have to run. We're going to have to do some things.
68 is reporting as number 69 for Oregon.
Ducks here on 4th down. Presumably will punt it away. Jasper Sanders is waiting at his 10-yard line. Sanders fair catches at the 10-yard line. That's where the Coyotes will get things started with 10:17 left here in the third from Autzen Stadium. The Ducks leading 41-13.
Networks.
(41-13) Oregon on top of South Dakota. Byron Marshall, outstanding young talent, who a year ago rushed for better than 1,000 yards. In fact, he's the Pac-12's top returning rusher. 14 touchdowns a year ago. And Marshall in this one has been quite a target, catching the ball. 6 catches for a couple of touchdowns. Defensively, Oregon brings some heat. Armstead wrestles Bama to the field, and it brings up a 2nd down for the Coyotes. Armstead's been in on a lot of action tonight, Glenn.
Well, he has been. He's had a fairly dominant game. Yeah, they've given up their yards, but he's made a lot of plays. He's been very good in the pass game, getting pressure. And this particular one sheds a blocker and wraps up and gets a tackle for a loss.
Brings up 2nd and 11 for South Dakota. Oregon's going to bring the heat right down the chute, but Earl gets rid of it. And then they corral Eric Schufert down behind the line of scrimmage.
Now they bring Joe Walker on a dog. He comes in the C gap. He's picked up and he's touched, but he gets enough pressure to disrupt the offense.
Kevin Earl starting to feel the pressure a little bit now. Maybe fatigue. 9 of 20, 95 yards. Had a rough series the last go. Now on 3rd and 11, he's got to make something happen here. And again, Oregon, a determined rush. Out of the backfield, Bama makes the catch, but again, Oregon closes on it, and they knock the ball carrier down.
Well, you know, decent pressure with a 4-man rush. They didn't have to. Many times they're not even bringing extra pressure. They're letting their defensive line work.
That was Derek Malone, the linebacker, got in there. Malone coming off a sensational year last year. He was a leading tackler on this ball club. Miles Bergner again to punt it. Nelson awaits. This one wobbling down. Nelson at the 50. Gets a block outside. Nelson with superior speed, working to the near side to the 20. Can he cut it back? He does. He's got blockers. He will sail into the end zone. Touchdown, Oregon. 49 yards. Charles Nelson, the freshman from Daytona Beach.
Well, that cut right there springs, and now it's just pure speed. If you'll remember, I think Coach Helfrich was telling us his sophomore tape in high school was ridiculous. It was silly, he said. But he got hurt, and a lot of people jumped off the wagon. When he came back as a senior, he was really good again, and some guys tried to get in, but they had stayed around, and that's how they got him.
They're going to call that a 50-yard dash. And the extra point is good. Charles Nelson, who jumped 25 feet long jump in high school, phenomenal athlete. And you can see the skills on display here as the Ducks lead at 40. Charles Nelson, a 50-yard punt return for a touchdown. The Ducks had 2 all of last year. Braylon Addison, who was out with an injury, ordinarily handled those duties last year. And something tells me, Glenn, that Nelson may be stepping into that role as Addison rehabs.
Well, if that return was any indication, I would agree with you.
This live ball bounced into the midst of South Dakota, who stood, and the ball went off a defender and out of bounds. Eric Schufert there covers up. Well, the road to the championship. Finally, a championship playoff, 14 postseason tournament chosen by a selection committee. 13 members, including Barry Alvarez, formerly Wisconsin, Pat Hayden, USC, Archie Manning, Condoleezza Rice. But the national championship is January the 12th. The Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl will be the 2 bowls selected this year to host the semifinals. Both played on January the 1st. I know where you're going to be, Glenn.
You know where I will be.
Yeah. Earl unloads far sideline. Aaron Ramsey makes the catch. Aaron Ramsey gets across midfield. So Ramsey with his first catch of the evening. The redshirt freshman at the tight end position pick up at 28 yards.
Hey, what a tough kid. I liked his blocking on the goal line. I liked the way he caught that ball and sought out contact and ran through it.
Well, if you're going chalk, Oregon's going, and a lot of people are going chalk this year. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the rankings.
You know, if that happens, they've got to get past. I think they could survive an early loss to a Michigan State and still get there if they win the Pac-12 and then win the championship game. But it's perception. It's and you got to get past pollsters.
Well, I guess polls would figure into it, but I think that's the beauty of having 13 on that committee to look at it. The human touch. Marcus Mariota up against Michigan State. Curtis Drummond, 49 tackles, 4 interceptions a year ago. That Michigan defense, daunting. Second in rushing yards, second in total yards. Michigan State, third in scoring. And Michigan State coming up with a win. They are preseason ranked 8th, by the way, in the country, beating Jacksonville State last night. 45-7.
They have a defense that did something last year that Oregon could not, and that was stop Stanford and beat them. And you can see that something's come up with Kevin Earl's hand, his thumb. He's grabbing it. Probably hit it on a helmet.
Yeah, that doesn't look good.
Or jamming on a ball. I mean, that's. I couldn't imagine after all the years of football I played. I always played with gloves and tape, and but that's the lineman's job. I couldn't imagine not having anything on those hands. And he's moving it, trying to get some, make sure it's okay. We'll pay attention to that. See if maybe that's what affected his throws after the half.
Or playing with a brace on the knee as Mariota did after getting dinged against UCLA. Last year they got off to the 8-0 start. Reception made by Trevor Bama. He is knocked down. And Earl still working the right thumb, trying to get a little feeling into the right hand. Go back to Michigan State. They've got a sensational young quarterback, Connor Cook, who just was lights out in that Rose Bowl you just mentioned in the win over Stanford. And on the fourth play of the game in their win over Jacksonville State, he was hitting the left knee, played the rest of the game with a brace on. He eventually went 12 and 13, 285 yards, had 3 touchdowns through the air.
And there we see traditional power again. You pull your backside guard, you have a lead back, 2 guys in the hole, and it gives Oregon trouble. And you just see they're just going to bring him and him right around. It's very simple, but it's what Stanford does. It is what gives Oregon trouble, and it's given them a little bit of trouble tonight. They will be working on that. You know they've got to work on that.
Earl, who took over in Game 5 last year as the starting quarterback, drops to throw. That one is underthrown and off the fingertip of Jesper Sanders and nearly intercepted. Pac-12 Football Weekly is your source for all the latest news, rankings, and analysis from around college football. Rick Neuheisel and Mike Yam break down everything you need to know from around the Conference of Champions. Pac-12 Football Weekly, Tuesdays at 7, right here on Pac-12 Networks.
You know, that's a good show, and every once in a while it's a great show because I'm on it every once in a while.
Glenn Parker, Jill Savage, Kevin Calabro on hand here at Hudson Stadium in Eugene, Oregon.
I tease. It's always a great show. Rick Neuheisel, Mike Yam, they do a great job.
Sanders gallops over one tackler straight ahead. And actually it was Kevin Earl with a keep behind Sanders. Earl, tough cat, giving up the body that time.
You know, it does look like his hand is swollen.
Yeah.
When you look at it, he's really in some pain. That's great camera work. Thank you.
Kevin Sager is the backup, but he doesn't have a helmet on, and he is not warming up along the South Dakota sideline. So Joe Glenn's going to ride Kevin Earl here, quarterback, with 4:01 to go in the third. On 4th down and 5. Earl back, heaves it as best he can, but again, off the fingertips of the intended receiver, Josh Vandermatten.
I just wonder if he can get enough on his throws. He's just starting to be a little inaccurate with his throws. You see that? Just gets away from him, flutters out. Ducks in total control.
Welcome back to Autzen Stadium here in Eugene, Oregon. Charles Nelson, a 50-yard punt return, one of many scores this evening from the Oregon Ducks, who lead at 48-13. Full array of young talent here playing for the Oregon Ducks this year. 40 newcomers on the roster. Handoff up the middle and maybe a gain of 1 on the play to Marshall. Down to Jill Savage with more on Mr. Nelson.
Well, Kevin, Charles Nelson was one of the 3 true freshmen the coaches kept raving about, along with Tyrell Crosby and Royce Freeman. But offensive coordinator Scott Frost said Charles Nelson is legitimately fast. That's saying something when you're here at Oregon. But Frost said it's usually not the athletic ability that leads to playing time. It's the emotional and mental preparedness. And he said all 3 of those guys came in ready to work on the mental side, and that's why they're getting the playing time here tonight, Kevin.
Thanks, Jill. Yeah, we heard mature approach as a descriptive phrase several times from the coaches when referencing all their young guys. Here's Lockie back to throw, checks down and throws near side to Marshall. Nice juke in the open field. Gets him another 10 yards before he's wrestled out of bounds, and a first down for Oregon.
You know, linebackers, we've seen it a couple times. Know where the leverage is, know what's going on, and we see now that right there, Mr. Earl is leaving the field. That hand obviously was getting the better of him, and they're going to go take a look.
Another give up the middle and a gain of a couple on the play. Here's what happened to Earl.
Look. Coming on the follow through, hits the helmet, and is for people who haven't thrown a football or don't know how a real quarterback throws it, the thumb turns down when they throw. And that's why the thumb is what they're always holding when they hit a helmet like that.
Ryan Sager warming up. Here's Marshall, had a knee down as he was spun around.
Drew Iddings, great tackle right there. With one arm, trying to manage to get Marshall down. They said he was one of those players they pointed out that looks like guys that Oregon's going to see all season. He's that type of player.
Voted preseason All MVC. Marshall again spins away from a tackle and bowls his way forward. A pickup of 11 on the play. Marshall through the years been successful. Now they're giving it to him on the ground. Here's what awaits the Ducks. Number 8 Michigan State coming up next weekend. Then Wyoming rolling in here at Washington State, home against Arizona at UCLA, and home against Washington. Lockie forced to run the ball. There is a flag on the play. Take a look at the back end of the schedule. At Cal, number 11 Stanford here on November 1st. And then at Utah, Colorado at home, and then at Oregon State this year for the Civil War.
The way he threw it and where he put it, it's a hold. It comes from the linesman, but he threw it towards a hold.
Holding, offense, number 73, 10-yard penalty, first down.
And you know, I know what he saw. I don't think it was holding. That's just me.
Well, the guilty party was the freshman that we just were talking about, Tyrell Crosby, 6'5", 310 out of Henderson, Nevada. He was a basketball player and a terrific rebounder, they said. They just loved his athleticism. Lockie back to throw, fakes a handoff, flips it off to the far side. Over there after it was Jonathan Lloyd. Jonathan Lloyd, the senior from Las Vegas, Nevada, the winningest Oregon Duck basketball player ever in his 4 years. Dana Altman's one of his first recruits, point guard on the very successful basketball team. Jonathan Lloyd getting some run.
Interesting when you read about him and things he said about football.
There's a pass to the near side. Pharaoh Brown on the receiving end of that one. And the big man is deep into South Dakota territory. Quickly the Ducks go to the line of scrimmage after a gain of 28 on the play, Glenn.
Moving the ball again, but going back to this about Lloyd, he said he had to make a football body. He couldn't be a basketball body anymore. He had to put on muscle and size.
Byron Marshall. And again, Marshall steams forward to pick up a 14 on the play. Marshall's been busy, as we've mentioned, through the air, where he caught 7 passes for a couple of touchdowns, and now he's carrying the mail, 73 yards on the ground. There's a play for a loss. 18 seconds, and the clock ticking here in the third. Marshall's getting some work.
Yeah, he's probably wondering, what did he do?
Pass to the near side. That's Allen with a reception.
And he let go of the ball before he crossed the goal line. That's why he gets so many more carries.
Devin Allen with his first reception of the evening, and the third quarter has come to an end. Oregon leading South Dakota 48-13. Another sellout here at Autzen Stadium. Mariota has a man. Touchdown, Oregon. Far side, another touchdown. Burst of speed and into the end zone.
Oregon's got an explosive offense. There's no lack of depth of talent when it comes to the Oregon roster.
They are in fine form here at Autzen Stadium in Eugene. 48-13. Oregon leading South Dakota. Number 3 ranked in the country. The Oregon Ducks operating with their second string quarterback, Jeff Lockie, the sophomore from Alamo, California. And flags fly on a 3rd and 3 deal.
Well, they've got mostly backups on the offensive line playing. And they got a little anxious. Big fellas want to get moving.
Doug Brenner is up front now at center, 6'2", 305 from Portland, Oregon. As we mentioned, Terrell Crosby out there at right tackle, the freshman from Henderson, Nevada. Lockie, the quarterback, in the gun. Backs and scans. Pressured on the run, throws back across it and has a man complete at the 5-yard line, and it's that man again. Byron Marshall, he's done it all tonight. 8 catches on the night for Marshall. And he's added 8 carries, 89 yards on the ground. Lockie is back on first down, rolling and throwing. Has a man at the pylon, pass complete. Nope, they say incomplete.
Yeah, drop that ball.
Looking for Pharaoh Brown at the pylon. They'll give it up top. Lockie shovels out to the wing and in for the touchdown, Oregon. Pharaoh Brown.
Well, a great name, and he was going to get a touchdown. They were going to get him the ball, get him a touchdown.
Brown, who had 2 touchdowns all of last year, the junior from Lyndhurst, Ohio.
Hey, let's run the zone read. Let's keep it. And if they have someone, hey, long pitch. There it is. If they're going to crash that corner down, stop it. Throw the long pitch.
Plays, 71 yards, 4:19 time of possession. Take a look at the amazing play of the game, brought to you by Quicken Loans. How about Marcus Mariota coming at you, sailing that one up high, Glenn.
Gets to Dwayne Stanford. That's a nice one, but hey, he wasn't done. There's a lot of amazing plays in this one. Finds Marshall on the wheel, and he's gone. Where else can you go with it? Well, you can find a little scramble, look downfield, and find Marshall again. A lot of different ways to beat you. This team has got them. That was your Quicken Loans amazing plays of the game.
3 TDs through the air, ran for another one. 14 of 20, 267 yards, no interceptions, and 43 yards on the ground.
I guess he really didn't come to play tonight, did he? Holy cow, that was a pretty good first half. Those are, I got to tell you something. I mean, I know the Duck does a lot of push-ups, but those really aren't push-ups, those last kind of couple he's got going there.
Well, you got an 80-pound outfit on, though.
Well, I'm just saying.
I mean,
just saying,
yeah. Poor guy, poor Duck.
Poor Duck.
Shuford under this one, cut it back 20, walled off, down he goes.
No one cared that I was carrying around 80 pounds of extra flesh on my frame when I was doing push-ups.
So Ryan Sager will come back now, the backup quarterback, as Kevin Earl went into the locker room for what we think is we hope anyway, is a bruised right thumb. Well, it's tough to lose your quarterback, your team captain in the first game of the year when you know you got a tough Missouri Valley Conference out ahead of you.
And they did a pretty good job of protecting him all night. He hits his hand on a helmet.
North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Northern Iowa, Youngstown State among those schools in the Missouri Valley. Sager turns in the handoff. And immediately Oregon is there as Sanders got the call.
So Sager comes out. And goes back in. So he's running off to get plays.
Second and 8. Sager, 2 men in the backfield, backs and throws. And Riley Donovan with the reception, knocked down before he could get to the first down. Ifo Ekpe-Olomu appeared to tweak his left ankle or foot. Don't want to speculate on what that was, but he came up limping at any rate, favoring the left leg. And we haven't seen him since. Over on the trainer's table, they were looking at him.
Obviously, no need to risk it, put him at risk. And
it's a good sign, Glenn, isn't it, that he's over on the sideline. He's standing there, and they shut him down for the night. Sager again back to throw, sails with this one over the head of the intended receiver, and off the fingertips of Schubert.
Well, he took a pretty good shot as well.
Reggie Daniels was out there. Jonathan Lloyd now is back to receive the punt. From South Dakota's Miles Bergner. Johnny Lloyd has Jets. Here's an end over end down near Lloyd. He's going to take it on the hop. He's going to try to turn the corner, but he's spun down. No, he maintains his balance. And then is upended at the 20-yard line.
That's point guard balance right there.
It sure is. Well, that center of gravity is so low to the floor. There he is, Jonathan Lloyd. The Ducks on top, 55-13. You step aside here in the fourth. .12:41 left in the ball game. 55-13. Number 3 Oregon out on top of South Dakota. Glenn Parker, Jill Savage, Kevin Calabro on hand. Marcus Mariota has had another sensational night. Played a full half of football, and as advertised, Glenn, he has come back with purpose this year for sure.
Yeah, very. The coaches tell us he's so driven and he's like that. And they said, things that are cliches with a lot of athletes, they're not cliches with him. It's just who he is. That's he is driven. He is serious. He is a leader. All those things, the way he talks, it's generally who he is.
Royce Freeman, he has made an impact tonight as well. Freeman with a couple of touchdowns on the ground already tonight. The freshman gets the call, bangs across, gets into the second level for a first down. Mark Helfrich, happy man when he learned in early December that Mariota was indeed coming back to play college football. How happy was he? Lockie the handoff. Here's what the coach had to say about his main man.
Marcus's greatest attribute, he has a ton of things that make him an elite player, but is his desire to get better. He's already great. He's already elite, and he wants to be better. And then the willingness and ability to put in that work to get better, that's contagious.
Mariota wants to get into sports physical therapy and in that area of sports medicine, and so he took classes this summer, Glenn. I mean, he loaded up on classes. He's 2 credits shy of graduating. One class is golf, the other is yoga, and he says, with a lighter load, I am now able to recuperate during the week. That's bad news for the opponents. Here's Lockie, deep pass, outside complete. Big gainer there to Johnny Munt, one of the other big tight ends. Munt actually started about 16 passes a year ago, and this is a hookup at 24.
Lockie had his choice, and Mariota's wondering why he didn't come back under. He had another receiver wide open a little deeper. And Zach Schuler was the other receiver open for him. I immediately looked at him and was like, uh-oh, but when that ball went wide, I thought they were throwing a touchdown. You can see him running right down the seam. Here's where I thought he'd go with the ball. Instead, he went out to the right. And it's a good pickup. And so you can see me and Mariota, the same type of quarterback. We're looking for that deep ball. We're looking to strike.
Handoff up the middle, and again they work Royce Freeman. Love the name, Royce Freeman from Imperial, California. You're just watching him for the first time tonight. 6 feet 229. And he's been drawing comparisons from the folks that watch Oregon football to a guy by the name of Jonathan Stewart, who was a pretty good running back here. Strength and speed, good combination. And the willingness to take it in to traffic and get busy. Kenny Bassett gets the carry this time. Bassett in the backfield alongside Lockie. Lockie will roll left, throw to the big tight end, and he is knocked down at the 10-yard line. Take a look at what's coming up next. Mike Yam, Rick Neuheisel, Curtis Conway, Matt Leinart in studio for a complete recap of all the day's action and our Dr. Pepper postgame report. UCLA looked good today against Virginia on the road. The defense did anyway in that second quarter when they scored 3 touchdowns. Cal on the road defeats Northwestern. Here's Bassett winding his way through. Touchdown Oregon. They put another one on the board. 18 yards.
Hey, just give it to him, let him go. Big blocks out there. Oh, the big fellow Jake Pisarcik getting a lead block out there. Along with the underutilized Zach Schuler, who seems to get open.
Snap the hold, the kick is up. It is good. And the Ducks have put 62 on the board with 9:21 remaining in the game. We'll step aside. Well, the Ducks are quacking 62-13. 9:21 to go in the ball game. And after Kenny Bassett runs one in 9 yards out for the touchdown, the senior from Beverly Hills, California, South Dakota will take it back. This one sails deep to the goal line. Vander Motten knocked down at the 19-yard line. That's where the Coyotes go to work. Let's get an update from Mike Yam now in San Francisco.
All right, Kevin, time for a Heineken game break. The Chris Peterson era at UW's having some tense moments. Huskies up 17-13. Joey, he was set for the 22-yard gain. That set up a field goal. 17-16. UW still on top, and they are driving, though.
Thank you, Mike. Mike Yam will be around in our Dr. Pepper post-game report for the cast of thousands. Corey Kilgore is in now, the quarterback for South Dakota. He is in the backfield. He'll take the handoff and turns to the middle. Sager stays on as the quarterback for South Dakota. Take a look at what has occurred now the first week of action, Glenn. We were in Utah. That Utah is deep. They've got team speed. Travis Wilson is healthy, and he was efficient in game one. A couple of touchdowns, no interceptions.
Yeah, and then unfortunately Washington State lost to Rutgers. Just great job by Connor Holiday, but they didn't run the ball well and didn't possess it and end up losing. Of course, Arizona State, Todd Graham has got things humming down there.
DJ Foster is something else. He's very definitely a dual threat guy. Colorado played well early, but Colorado State put too many yards on the ground against him. Nelson Spruce, 7 receptions from Sefo Liufau. And Arizona, they've got a lot of weapons. Austin Hill is back, is healthy, looked good last night. Anu Solomon, the new quarterback, can run it, throws the ball extremely well. And then today, UCLA at Virginia did not play their best game in the first half of the defense. 3 scores in the third quarter against, or I should say in the second quarter against Virginia. Cal at Northwestern with a big win. Jared Goff, 281 yards, a couple of 3 touchdowns. 1 interception in that one. Stanford no problem against UC Davis, a team that beat them back in 05. Hard to believe. Ty Montgomery, 159 all-purpose yards, a couple of touchdowns, and USC behind Cody Kessler, 407 yards, 5 total touchdowns, 4 through the air, very efficient. new interceptions. Fresno State at Utah next weekend. We'll have that one for you here on the Pac-12 networks. And then Utah, after a bye, will travel to the Big House to take on Michigan. Michigan State will be here in Eugene next weekend. Preseason ranked number 8, the team that beat Stanford in the Rose Bowl a year ago. Their quarterback Connor Cook is back, and Marcus Mariota will have his hands full against one of the better defensive units in the country next weekend.
It should be interesting to see what they can do against the secondary of Michigan State, see if they can get speed on the perimeter. You know, when Michigan State beat Stanford, it was the perfect matchup for Michigan State, right into what they do well defensively.
2nd and 6. And pickup of a few on the play for the Coyotes. What I'm interested to see in that ball game, Glenn, you're the guy that has played in the interior for so many years, is how does that front line of Oregon that you had talked about yesterday in our meeting, trying to take more of a physical type mindset, and they've been bulking up in the weight room as well. How do they go at one of the best in the country, Michigan State, up front?
Well, you got to get a body on a body. You got to be explosive, but you also, your double teams at the point of attack got to move vertically, not laterally, so that you can get a second level blocker. So you can get that your one of your double teams up to the backer, so you create 2 levels on the defense and give yourself some room to run.
Well, if they can give Tyner, Marshall, Freeman a little space matched up against Michigan State, and if they get into the second level, man, that's going to be something to behold. Let's go down to Jill Savage. More on the new attitude.
Well, Kevin, you were talking about the physical changes. The Ducks also had the mental changes. Mark Helfrich this offseason went and got blue collars put on to the Ducks practice shirts. It's a reminder for them. Things happen for a reason. He said last year it felt like they were trying to get away from the nobility. He wants it to be a thought process that you don't just come in here and go ahead and put up that 50 points on the scoreboard. It has to be won through sweat, blood, and hard work. That's what he's trying to instill, is that blue collar mentality on this Ducks team.
Jill, thank you. And of course, he told Jill Savage at half that he was as happy as a guy, or as unhappy as a coach could be, leading 41-13 halfway through. Some of it, Glenn, was going back to that offensive line. Looked like they defensively anyway, they were giving up some stuff. Offensively, I don't know that they were blowing South Dakota off the line of scrimmage as many people anticipated they would in the first quarter.
Well, I think offensively they didn't want to show too much either. They don't want to show a lot of the things that they're going to be planning on doing, so they don't want to give anything away.
Well, now one thing's for sure, that Marshall, Tyner, and Freeman are all going to get some opportunities. And they were, particularly with Marshall, using him out of the backfield, lining him up in slot situations.
Well, you see, that's what you love about that, is with Marshall in the game and he's in the backfield, he's going to be if you're going to go man, you're going to have a linebacker against him. And he's too fast out of the backfield to be covered by that linebacker. So if you then put a safety or a nickel in and they start running at you, you've given up size in the box. So they're making Michigan State work on that 2-back set right now from the things they've shown today.
2nd and 8 now for the Coyotes. And Sager, the quarterback, comes back out after checking here at the sidelines. Kevin Earl has long departed the field with swollen right thumb. So Sager, the backup, goes to work. 2nd and 8, 3:21 remaining in the game. And some movement up front, and flags fly.
Delay game. Offense, 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
False start, South Dakota. Mariota, 353 consecutive pass attempts without an interception last season. The first last season was against Arizona in the 11th game.
And amazing streak, but even a more amazing play to take that streak away. I mean, he was so good. It took just this crazy thing to happen for him to actually give up an interception. We'll talk more of that after the play.
Sager back to throw, sails this one between two defenders. A pinpoint pass on the money for a first down. Van Rokel makes the reception. Take a look.
Well, here's that play. I mean, he's looking out. Scooby Wright takes off. Shaquille Richardson jumps out of bounds, grabs the ball, and throws it back in for Scooby Wright to get this ball. It took a crazy thing to end that streak. It was an amazing streak, and only something like that could probably bring it to an end.
66% completion average. Marcus Mariota, career completion average, #1 in the books here at Oregon. And another flag flies as South Dakota carries the ball up the middle.
They're going to get someone for a hold inside.
Personal foul. Chop block. Offense, number 68. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So 68.
Mike Minor
gets a chop because he went low on someone who was engaged with another blocker.
So the 2s and 3s on the field. Shuford comes wide here to the near side. 2:21 remaining in the third. 62-13 Oregon. Sager in the gun. And the handoff and a little quick opener to the left side. Corey Kilgore on the carry. Mike Yam, Rick Neuheisel, Curtis Conway, and Matt Leinart in the studio for a recap of all the day's action. Coming up after the game on the Dr. Pepper postgame report. UCLA on the road with a win against Virginia. Cal looked very good, particularly in the first half defensively. Very stout when they needed in the fourth quarter to win over Northwestern. And a look ahead to next week's games as well.
You've got to be happy for Sonny Dykes with all the talk in the offseason, new AD, all the struggles they had its first year. They come out and get a real quality win against a quality opponent.
New D coordinator as well. Here's a pass thrown through the fingertips of the defender and off the hands of the intended receiver, Ben Kramer.
You know, I don't know that it ever hit Ben Kramer's hands. When the defender went up, it blocked his vision for a bit, and I think it hit him right in the breadbasket. I don't think it ever got to his hands.
Tyree Robinson, the safety in coverage. Robinson, he's a big guy. Redshirt freshman, 6'4", 200-pound safety. 6'4" safety.
Yeah, but he covers ground. You know, they talk about side to side he covers. So he put his nose in the box and plays some run defense. He's got range.
Sager is back on 3rd and 16, throwing on the run across the body, and that ball's tipped, but then caught by South Dakota. Went off a defender's hands, tipped, and recovered by South Dakota. Shuford was the intended receiver. Watch what happens here. Looks like Shuford actually volleyed the ball into the air, and Van Rokel made the catch.
Pretty impressive.
It's a way to stay with the play.
Hey.
Under a minute remaining.
Opportunity knocks. You got to answer the door, right?
It's about playing time at this point. Who wants it? Who wants to go get it?
You know, John Wooden had a saying that these kids can use. Success is doing the best you can regardless of the outcome. That's success. And a lot of these kids at South Dakota can claim they had success tonight. They're not going to be happy about it, but they've been a success because some of them have played very well.
I thought they've been particularly impressive on the ground. Here's Corey Kilgore. He keeps the pile moving straight ahead.
Timeout, South Dakota.
And South Dakota will call a timeout with 19 seconds remaining, and we'll step aside with Oregon leading 62-13 here in Eugene, Oregon.
This will be immediate timeout.
The Coyotes called a timeout down here near the Oregon goal line with 19 seconds remaining on the road, trailing number 3 Oregon 62-13. They're trying to build a little momentum as well as they head into their second weekend and soon into Missouri Valley Conference play.
Think of how much confidence it gives your team that you put up 20 against Oregon, and you did 13 of it against the starters, and all that you can say to all your guys, see, you're capable of playing at that level.
Drew Potter, the man in motion. The fake to Kilgore. Sager keeps it, and he is wrapped up and knocked down. And in the meantime, the Oregon Ducks continue to play hard and alert. Jawan Williams came up from his safety position to make the stop.
Well, what a great call. You bring pressure out. You bring it. That's a blitz. Backside, figuring that they want to roll. Yeah, man, he likes his teammates. He doesn't want them to give up 7.
Take a look at some non-conference games coming up against the Pac-12. The big one we've talked about most of the night. Number 8 Michigan State taking on number 3 Oregon. Michigan State coming up with a win over Jacksonville State last night. Connor Cook, the quarterback, playing with a brace on his knee after he got hit in the 4th play of the game in the left knee, but very effective. Northern Illinois to meet number 25 Washington. Number 7 UCLA to take on Charlie Strong, the new coach at Texas. And number 20 Utah to take on Michigan. The Wolverines defeat Appalachian State today 52-14. So here we go with 12 seconds remaining in the game. 4th and 13. South Dakota's Sager, the snap, releases, ball deflected. That's going to come up short, incomplete. That will be that. And the Oregon Ducks will take over on downs. Chris Cisse in coverage for the Ducks.
You know, you love that sequence from both teams. South Dakota trying hard. They want to score. And yet so much pride on Oregon. And you know Pelham doesn't want to give up another touchdown. He brings pressure. And the guys play right to the end and save it. That's a lot of fun. It was a 17-play drive by South Dakota, by the way.
Don Pelham, the linebacker coach, 21 years here in Oregon, taking over as D coordinator when Nick Aliotti made his announcement the night after they had beaten Texas at the Alamo Bowl that he was retiring after 24 years. He's now joining us on the Pac-12 Networks, doing some work in the studio. Good for him. Good for us. Here's the handoff, and that will be that. So, the Oregon Ducks, very impressive. Marcus Mariota was clean and very efficient through the air and on the ground, and he really spread the wealth out there. That's, I think, what is most impressive, Glenn, is the number of weapons that we saw on display tonight.
Well, and that's what you got to do in a game like this. You get as many guys involved as possible, get everybody happy and feeling good, and put a lot of tape out there for teams to watch and see some of the things you do and some of the weapons you possess.
Mariota, 14 of 20. He had 3 touchdowns tonight, 267 yards. And by the way, carried it 6 times, 43 yards and a touchdown as well. Marshall caught through the air 2 touchdown passes. Stanford and Brown each with touchdown passes as well. 6 players score in this ballgame. Jill Savage is standing by with Coach Helfrich.
Well, not a very pleased coach at halftime. Is it a different result, though, here at the end of the game?
Well, certainly happy with the win, you know, and I thought we competed to the end. I think we played everybody that we had available, had about 9 freshmen in there on defense there at the end, so that's encouraging. We competed. We got a lot to clean up. We got a great team coming in next week.
The question mark was the wide receiving core coming into the game. We saw a lot of them. How do you assess their group?
We'll find out on film. I mean, we had a couple guys make some plays. We had a couple guys miss some opportunities, both in the run game and in the passing game, but we'll get better. That's the goal.
Byron Marshall, the workhorse for you tonight. Do you anticipate that? You had 3 running backs, but do you anticipate him getting the bulk carries?
We'll see. We'll see. You know, all those guys are talented in their own way, and it just kind of depends on how the package fits together that week.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thanks, Joe.
Kevin?
All right, Joe, nice work tonight. Great joining you. Great joining Glenn Parker. Glenn enjoyed it. 2 and 3 nights, brother. That's a lot of football.
We had a lot of football. It was great working with you again, Kevin.
Ted Robinson will be back next weekend. You guys will be at UCLA to take on Memphis. We'll be seeing Fresno State and Utah next weekend as well on the Pac-12 networks. Final here, Oregon 62, South Dakota 13. The Dr. Pepper post-game report is coming up next. For Jill Savage and Glenn Parker, the entire Pac-12 network crew, I'm Kevin Calabro. Good night from Eugene, Oregon. And now let's go to the Dr. Pepper post-game report.